Chicken Little was such a perfect idea for a film that the director didn't need to worry about silly things like structuring the story or developing the characters. The concept on its own was so brilliant that the film simply couldn't fail. In this video, I'm going to be analyzing the Walt Disney masterpiece and attempt to seek out deeper meaning in what many believe to be just another mediocre Disney movie.
Now, where to begin? How about Once Upon a Time?
Right out of the coop, this movie proves to the audience just how intelligent it is.
How many times have you heard that to begin a story?
They're about to start the thing off with Once Upon a Time, like every other film has before it, but the writers of Chicken Little understood how groundbreaking this story was going to be and how unique of a role it would play in pop culture, so they knew they couldn't take the generic route.
Let's do something else. I got it. Here we go. Here's how to open a movie. No, I don't think so. It sounds familiar, doesn't it to you?
Oh yeah, that's the opening shot to my favorite film of 2019, The Lion King. I really like the hand-drawn animation they did here. It's an interesting way to take a shot from a live-action film and incorporate it into an animated movie. Man, I'd love to see a completely hand-drawn version of The Lion King. I don't think it would top the original, though. So the opening scene of this film involves Chicken Little attempting to alert the town of the oncoming threat that is...
The sky is falling! The sky is falling!
The sky is falling!
Are you crazy?
Throughout this opening scene, we witness some very intense sequences of action, especially after a water tower gets knocked over and the giant water tank ball starts rolling through the town, destroying everything and nearly killing everyone. Viewer discretion is advised. After the giant water tower water sphere rolls into a mysterious building, we cut to a shot inside of a movie theater where the iconic Steven Spielberg film Raiders of the Lost Ark is being presented on the silver screen. If you ask me, the boulder chase scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of the most intense and exciting sequences in cinematic history. All of this means nothing to Chicken Little. The film is well aware that this water tower tank sphere water ball chase scene is far superior to anything Spielberg has ever even attempted to create, and no one involved in the creation of this film was afraid to say so. The director of this film, Mark Dindal, made a very clear attack on Spielberg's work by literally destroying his film and murdering the entire audience that dared to watch Raiders of the Lost Ark instead of Chicken Little. Now that Chicken Little has the whole town's attention, he begins to try to get his message across to them. The sky is falling.
And it hit me on the head. And it looked like a stop sign.
As he tries to do this, his father explains to him how embarrassing it all is, but it was too late. The reporters already arrived. What ensues is a very intriguing plot point, or perhaps a bit of foreshadowing. The reporters begin to ask their questions, and Chicken Little tries to respond, but what occurs is something rather unusual. Chicken Little seemingly starts to glitch out.
But it big acorn level fly.
What did he say?
Big acorn level fly.
It was a big acorn?
It was an ape throwing coleslaw?
Big acorn level fly.
He's asked a question, then responds by repeatedly doing the same movements and shouting the same phrase over and over again, with the exact same tone of voice as if he's a broken record.
But it big acorn level fly.
Essentially, the editor of the film repeated Chicken Little's voice clip over and over again in this scene. Some may think this was simply a lazy move by the production team, but I believe there is more behind this than laziness. But we'll get back to that later on in the video. Crazy Little Chicken, the movie. Within a year, they produced a film for this random thing that happened in this seemingly small town. You would think a filmmaker like would have more ideas than a biopic about this random little chicken. Sorry, Crazy Little Chicken, the movie. So they drive by this billboard, and Robert De Niro just can't believe what he's seeing. The amount of crap this family has gone through over a little incident that happened a year ago is simply unfair.
First it was all over the papers, then they wrote a book about it, then the book on tape, then the board game, and then the website, the commemorative plates.
yeah.
You know, you saw them,
Yeah,
right?
I
You
saw
can't eat off them, but they're there.
Well, they're not microwave safe.
They should bring these companies to court. They're straight up selling merchandise for this little kid, and he's not even getting anything out of it. He's just accepting the fact that it's happening. Him too. He's an asshole.
There's a bumper sticker. I knew it was only a matter of time. Billboards I could live with. Posters I could even live with. But a bumper sticker, it's like glued on forever.
Look, Dad, it doesn't even...
So Chicken Little reveals that he has a plan, but he's immediately shut down by this cock who tells him to lay low and never be seen by anyone.
Remember how I told you it would be better for you just to lay low, don't call attention to yourself? A game of hide and seek, except the gold is never to be found, ever.
Anyway, Chicken Little is insulted by someone on the side of the road, and this makes him so angry that he decides it's a new day. He's gonna get on that school bus and... Literally everybody in this movie's a jackass. This is a grown adult man who just decided that he's gonna leave this innocent little kid on the side of the road and prevent him from attending his classes at school just because he did a weird thing that caused some chaos a year ago. So now we have a beautiful song to accompany this sequence where Chicken Little has to chase the bus to school and face off against his arch nemesis, Acorns. Unfortunately, I'm not going to play the background song here in order to avoid copyright, so instead I'll replace it with a royalty-free song, and then we can all still enjoy the scene. So Chicken Little loses his pants, and now he has no choice but to run around in his underwear. This is what he does to get in the school. Hold on. Whose idea was it to give Chicken Little the top locker? The kid can barely even reach the bottom locker. What is this? What is going on here? I gotta say though, he's pretty talented at unlocking these. When I was in high school, I had to get like 7 people to help me open these things, and we still couldn't figure it out. In this next scene, we're introduced to every other character in the film. Legendary actor Sir Patrick Stewart voices the teacher in perhaps the greatest role of his career. Oh my god! She's disgusting! We can see here that the filmmakers planned to gross out the audience. They even tried to prepare us for it. Everyone calls her ugly, but come on, how ugly was she really gonna be? I mean, it's just a 3D model of a duck, isn't it?
Chicken Little.
Hold on. So his name is Chicken Little. It's not just a nickname. What if he grows up to be big and strong someday? Then what are they gonna call him? Chicken Large? Big Crunch? Next up is a sequence that takes place in the school gym where the class is receiving their physical education.
Dodgeball.
Woo! Tough morning.
I had a run-in with my old nemesis.
Gum in the crosswalk.
No. Acorns. How hard are they throwing these things? They are becoming physically deformed. This guy's entire life was just ruined over a stupid game of dodgeball. I was gonna do great things with my life, but I threw it all away for a game of dodgeball. So Chicken Little finally reveals his plan.
All I need is a chance to do something great to make everyone forget the whole sky falling thing once and for all. Whoa! And then my dad will finally have a reason to be proud of me.
This is just sad at this point. Why haven't they moved out of this town by now? Leave the country. This town is awful and filled with the worst citizens I've ever seen. Everyone sucks. Just leave. Honestly, Chicken Little is pretty optimistic, considering how much everyone in his life hates him. The writers really knew how to make an inspiring hero we can all look up to. Is he made of rubber? What just happened? Why are they laughing? Why are they trying to kill him? Here we really see the chilling hatred of the citizens of this town. These kids in this school trying to kill Chicken Little. This is brutal. This is extremely difficult to watch. I don't know what kind of message Mark Dindal was trying to get across to the audience, but God, I can barely look at it. So Chicken Little gets in trouble for almost being killed by his classmates, and we're given a bit of backstory to his father. Because of this, on the ride home, Chicken Little suggests to his father that he joins the baseball team. This causes his father to have a stroke. Geez, you'd think he'd be excited that his son wants to have another go at this.
To let it show I love you.
Oh, Chloe, if only you were here, you'd know what to do.
What an emotional film. The father-son dynamic going on here is nothing short of brilliant. It touched me in places nothing has ever touched me before. After we're done wiping tears away from our faces, Chicken Little finally joins the baseball team, and we get this remarkable montage where he trains to take on the best of the best. The idea of watching a character train for a sport through the format of a montage was a highly original and innovative concept that has gone on to inspire other, lesser films such as Rocky and The Karate Kid. We arrive at the game, and this is where we really see what Chicken Little is truly capable of. Fun fact about this scene. The director originally wanted to use the Venom theme song by Eminem when Chicken Little hits the baseball, but they couldn't acquire the rights to the song, so they ended up having to edit it out. What I am about to show you is the original baseball sequence from a rare work print of Chicken Little. Disney does not want this getting out. Once we're done with all the baseball shenanigans, Chicken Little dies. Then his father dies. So what happens here is, another piece of the sky has fallen. It has fallen directly into Chicken Little's bedroom. The metaphor presented here is that Chicken Little is finally happy for a day, then his whole world comes crashing down.
Huh? How'd you get over there?
Over where?
There.
Where?
There. How'd you get over there?
So we learn that this hexagon can camouflage into its surroundings. Something most people don't notice about this film is the clever foreshadowing that happens earlier when the chameleon camouflages itself into the color of the traffic sign. The chameleon blends into a stop sign. How does Chicken Little describe the sky panel that he saw earlier in the movie?
It was shaped like that!
It looks like a stop sign?
Yes!
It all comes full circle, or full hexagon if you will. That was perhaps the most elaborate and clever foreshadowing in cinematic history, and I applaud the filmmakers for making such a bold effort to connect every scene in such a meaningful and intelligent way. I really love the horror aspect of this scene. The eerie music combined with the panicking breaths of Chicken Little make this sequence a masterclass in audio design. I cannot believe that King Kong won the 2006 Oscar for Best Sound Mixing. Where was Chicken Little? This is what the sound mixing sounds like in King Kong. After Chicken Little scans the room for any potential threats, he decides everything is fine, but this was all a mistake. Suddenly, the audience is jump scared by Chicken Little tripping over the sky hexagon and landing on his face. I'm normally not a fan of jump scares. If you watch my top 10 scariest moments in LEGO Star Wars video, then you already know how I feel about those. Very often in horror films, jump scares are used as a cheap scare tactic to try to make the audience jump in their seats. Fortunately, Mark Dindal understood how to effectively use a jump scare in a justified and deserved way. Horror directors, take some notes from Chicken Little. So Chicken Little starts to play around with this device, and suddenly he feels the need to call ugly.
I'm a rolling stone.
What I really, really want. So
Run,
tell me what
quiet,
you want. What
I'm
you
on the
really, really
phone.
want. I wanna.
Let me guess. You haven't told your dad yet.
Well,
I knew it. And why haven't you told him? Because there hasn't been any your dad, talking.
We talked. There was talking. There was definitely talking.
Stay out of Chicken Little's private business with his father. That is none of your concern. Why are you all up in his face about it? Leave him alone.
What did he say?
Pee. Could you stop saying that?
What? Pee?
Pee.
How about tinkle?
Piddle?
Whiz? Wee wee?
Okay, subject change.
As you can see, Chicken Little is very sensitive to the subject of urine. This is an excellent case of the writers adding vulnerability to the protagonist. It's the little things like this that add so much depth to these characters. Now this is where the movie really picks up steam. Fish figures out what he's capable of doing with the sky hexagon, and he flies away like he's the Silver Surfer. Unfortunately, he is sucked into this UFO and taken away.
Wait, whoa, son, where's the fire here?
Chicken Little has something to tell you. Tell him. He can handle it.
What are we talking about?
gotta go, Dad. Bye.
You gotta be ready to listen to your children, even if they have nothing to say.
Dude, this entire movie you've been shutting him up and ignoring everything he's been telling you. Maybe you should practice what you preach, you piece of ass cheese. You deserve to be in a deep fryer at KFC. So the kids chase after the glow stick that's still visible in the sky, and they end up at the Oki Stadium. The UFO lands, and this is where Runt shows his true colors. Now, only a moment ago, we saw Runt apologizing to inanimate objects.
Sorry.
I'm afraid it was all a hoax. Here we see Runt, without a second thought, grab Chicken Little and sacrifice him to the aliens. We already knew Runt was a coward, but this is a new low. Even after the aliens run loose in their town and Fish is trapped aboard the UFO, possibly dead, Runt feels it's appropriate to make an alien reference.
Maybe he's a half-living host implanted with their face-hugging embryo babies.
So our heroes find their way aboard the UFO, and pretty much immediately we're given a dose of horror with an electrifying jump scare. Nothing is scarier than the unknown, and it's clear that Mark Dindal understood this completely when he decided to add this element of horror to the already mysterious alien spacecraft. After Chicken Little studies this orange alien for a brief moment, we are given an even worse jump scare when Abby appears on screen. I personally feel they went too far with this one, but I guess that's just the genius behind it. Disney's never afraid to take risks with their films. They believe in true artistic integrity. Now here we see Orange Fuzzboy get loose, which is a perfect setup to add more tension to the scene than there already was. The writing here is excellent. The way all these characters are thrown into such a terrifying situation, it's amazing how natural it all feels. The way the music completely fades out in order to fully bring out the eerie echo in their voices is simply masterful.
Where's your bag? Where's your bag? Freeze.
Again with the horror. I normally skip this entire scene when I do my weekly viewing of this film, as it tends to give me nightmares as well as other strange visions that occur from time to time, but for the sake of this analysis, I'll suffer through it. Because here at the Kitty Daw, I only deliver the best content for my viewers. You never see me out here sticking advertisements during the video, taking away from the viewer's investment. So it turns out Fish is okay. Abby tries to make his head implode, but Chicken Little warns her not to do that. I wish he warned her when she did that to me. As they catch up with Runt, we soon learn that the aliens have annihilated most of the other planets in the solar system, and Earth is next. This is understandably unnerving to our kooky cast of characters, but Fish seems to be having a great time. It's extremely interesting how the writers keep us on edge with Fish. We never know if we should trust him or not, but I think this shot right here tells it all. Fish is not a good guy, and we need to watch out for him from this point on. After this, an intense chase begins when the aliens realize Fuzzball is gone. Once they finally reach the exit to the UFO, Fish, being the selfish bastard he is, hops through it first, and then we witness this. He's like an exercise ball. I guess if you don't use them, you become them. Look what Fish is doing! He's trying to help them down! Man, just as a fan, I feel so betrayed by Fish. I know I really never saw this coming, and I really just don't know how to properly put my thoughts into words. The writing in this film is just it's so perfect. It's so perfect. Man, these aliens are searching as hard as they can, but still no signs of them. And here it is. The brilliant soda bottle setup from the first act is finally coming into play. Now I'm just waiting for that whole baseball scene to pay off. Here we see Fish off to the side, scheming, coming up with a plan to stop them from harming him and his alien army. Chicken Little's finally at the bell, but before he can ring it, he has a serious flashback to you-know-what from earlier in the film. This causes him to hesitate, but when his friends are in serious trouble, he finally has the nuggets to do it, and he yanks on that thing. We then see an extremely clever and original idea come into play where the aliens are harmed by the screeching sound of the bell. This idea was so groundbreaking that it was copied in the 2007 film Spider-Man 3. It's interesting that Chicken Little wasn't allowed to use material from Venom, but then they went and directly copied Chicken Little when designing Venom. So a decent portion of the town arrives to inspect the matter at hand, and look who it is, that crazy Chicken Little ringing the bell again.
Chicken Little, you better have a good explanation for this.
And he does. Unfortunately, the entire group of citizens stop to view a penny.
Guys!
Oh, right.
Because of their selfish, disgusting greediness, they don't get to see the aliens. Guess who looks like a fool again?
It's the acorn thing all over again.
There's no story here.
As the kids try to convince the townspeople that the aliens are real, Runt's mother grabs him by the ear and threatens to take away his Barbra Streisand collection. This is all just a power play by his mother. It's very obvious that Mark Dindal's mother once took away his Streisand collection, and this is his way of letting the audience understand the pain he went through as a child. Now the town is angry, and rightfully so. Chicken Little seemingly led them on a wild goose chase, which may soon become a little chicken chase. After the chaos is finished, Chicken Little goes for a stroll, and this is where we see what Fuzzboy's been up to. He watches his parents leave him behind, and it's so sad. The way this film just manages to enter the viewer's soul and punch it around like it's having a boxing match, it's devastating. Unfortunately, because they lost their child, the aliens have a nervous breakdown and repeatedly press a red button while calling for help. This is an extremely clever way to make us feel the looming threat throughout the entirety of the following scene.
You have hate mail.
I'm truly sorry.
You have more hate mail. Your hate mail box is full.
So many people hate this man that he needs to have a separate box for hate mail alone, and it's full! So the crew tries to cheer up Chicken Little with a Playboy magazine, but even that won't get his spirits up. After the rest of the gang leaves, Chicken Little notices Orange Fuzzy Boy sitting on the ground. Upon further inspection, all hell breaks loose.
Abby, run! Fish!
What is that thing?
Everyone panics for a moment, but then our suspicions are confirmed. Fish is working with the aliens.
His name is Kirby?
They left him behind?
Darth Vader is Luke's father?
Oh, no. Come on. Don't cry. We're here for you. We're gonna do whatever it takes to get you back home, okay?
He has every right to cry. Runt just unnecessarily spoiled The Empire Strikes Back for him. This is another instance of this film flexing its feathery biceps. The writers of this film straight up spoil what is perhaps the most shocking twist in cinematic history because they know that after audiences see Chicken Little, they won't have any interest in seeing a garbage movie like The Empire Strikes Back. Their cinema-going experiences have already peaked, and there is no longer a reason to even think about viewing a film that isn't Chicken Little.
Okay,
We then discover that the plot is progressing again when the sky really does begin to open up and UFOs come flying out. Terrifying visuals accompany this difficult to watch scene. I always close my eyes, cover my ears, and hide behind a thick wall whenever the scene comes on. I would recommend you do the same. Consider yourself warned, you are entering this section of the video at your own risk. Chicken Little now needs to confront his father and explain why he can't abandon the town. At first, his dad doesn't believe him, but that's okay because Abby shows up and screams at him. So far, Abby's entire character has revolved around yelling at Chicken Little to talk to his father and yelling at his father to believe him. I admire the writer's ability to stay true to this character with every single line. It's refreshing to see so much dedication put into one character. There was never a point where she felt one-dimensional or useless to the story. As the world starts ending, the song It's the End of the World as We Know It begins to play, and it's an exceptional music choice that creates for a very profound scene, because the characters in the film do in fact believe that the world is ending. From this point on, the rest of the film is a visual marvel of action and emotional stakes.
On! Come on, and you with the running and the jumping.
Abby bursts into the room because she's a character. Then Chicken Little and his father have a heart-to-heart.
You're never there for me. I mean, you were there when I won the big game, but not when I thought the sky fell. And not at the ball field, and certainly not now.
This is good. Keep going, keep going.
It's been a shame to me ever since the acorn thing happened, and we have to talk about it because modern knowledge says avoiding closure can lead to molting, and I'm already small, and on top of that, I don't think I could handle being bald.
I'm going to need a lot of work. But you need to know that I love you, no matter what.
They've been ignoring Abby for this entire scene. It's like she's not even there. You could cut out every shot of her, and this scene would make perfect sense. But Mark Dindal was too smart for that. He realized the emotional weight that would be carried if Abby was present to finally see her wishes come true. It all fits perfectly into the complex puzzle that is Chicken Little.
That's me. Whoa! This thing likes to nibble, doesn't it?
Chicken tastes good, Cluck. Chicken tastes good.
By the way, I'd like to say I've always found you extremely attractive.
And her arc comes to a satisfying close.
That's closure.
It's really clever how Abby acknowledges the completion of her storyline. This film is so complex that the writers need to drop little things here and there to help the audience understand everything going on. This was smart of them to do. Otherwise, they would have lost me here.
Oh, we surrender!
Forget Plan A!
Okay, what now, son? Who, by the way, I support 100%?
I don't know. He sounds like he's still trying to convince himself. The moral dilemmas running through the minds of these characters are truly fascinating to see presented so intricately through the art of film. Such a bold story. I still can't even believe this got made. Once they've located the parents, Chicken Little comes up with the perfect plan to get to them.
Plan B! All we have to do is duck and weave through traffic and make our way through town square while avoiding the death rays from those alien robots. Then we get to town hall, climb up to the highest point on the roof, and give the kid back to its parents.
We then cut to a high-speed chase where Cluck really shows off his abilities and reveals that he's actually been Captain America this whole time! A mind-boggling twist that was masterfully hidden throughout the entire film. Perhaps one day we'll get the spin-off origin story titled Cluck Big.
Run! No, turn around! Go back to town hall!
But they'll vaporize us!
Runt being a coward as usual. Another character the writers stayed true to with every line. Such a perfect piece of cinema.
Run, just do it! It'll work! We'll survive!
I will survive? Break!
drink, Abby!
All he needed was a reminder of a pop song he likes in order for him to kick it into high gear and face the destruction of his hometown as he knows it. If that's not powerful storytelling, then I don't know what is. So they climb to the top of the building and have another heart-to-heart, where Chicken Little's father tells him it's too dangerous to keep going, but Chicken Little convinces him otherwise. Unfortunately, Abby wasn't there to scream at them about it. Once he's ready to go up, he uses his saliva as glue and flings himself to the very top where he can interact with the UFO. This all goes wrong when the aliens attack. Look at this. Cluck is busting out all these superpowers. We definitely need an origin story now. Where was he during Avengers Endgame? I mean, come on, even Chicken Little showed up to that. So the trio is suddenly beamed up to the UFO with all the other victims, and they're confronted by this giant fire alien. The alien demands they give up the child, so they do, but that's just not good enough. The alien then proceeds to pull giant guns on Chicken Little and Cluck.
Oh, snap.
That is exactly what I would have said in this scenario. It's stunning how relatable a fictional character can be. Just before they're blasted into oblivion, Fuzzball appears on screen and tries to speak, but only the other aliens can understand what he's saying. And of course, Fish, but Fish isn't here.
Well, then, this is awkward,
Yes, it is.
Even more relatability. Everything I do causes people to feel awkward, and it usually causes them to run away, too. It turns out this was a lousy scare tactic the whole time. This film has unexpected twist after unexpected twist. How did humanity manage to craft such a complex piece of art?
And if it hadn't been for your son there, well, we might have vaporized the whole planet.
What?
Look at this. Chicken Little finally gets the recognition he deserves when the people of the town hear this. Such a satisfying scene. So in the end, the aliens only came for the acorns. They had peaceful intentions, but were ultimately pushed to their limits. This really has a lot to say about the way we treat the aliens that showed up in my backyard last night. I mean, I've been very nice to them, and they're certainly not tied up in my basement. Shut up over there!
Lollipop, lollipop, oh, lolly, lolly.
She got her brainwaves a little scrambled during reconstitution, but no worries, we can put her back the way she was.
No! She's perfect.
Lollipop, lollipop.
Scary.
She will never return to the way she was, simply because Runt wants a girlfriend that's stupid enough for him. Another example of greed plaguing the minds of these characters.
Look at the time. We'd better get a move on.
Ah, there goes that panel again. Every year we come here, this thing falls off. Seriously, honey, someday it's going to hit somebody on the head.
Oh, nonsense.
You can't return the panel, can you?
No, that's ridiculous.
And everything comes full circle. It turns out Chicken Little was just dealing with their annual panel malfunction.
I like to see the movie they make about you now.
I just hope they stay true to what really happened.
Oh, son, these people are from Hollywood. The one thing they will never do is mess with a good story.
This film is evidence of that. Nothing like a bit of self-referential humor. So the characters watch this amazingly accurate film, but that is not what I want to focus your attention on at the moment. We are about to delve into a conspiracy theory. Take a good look at the audience in this theater. Is there anything you notice about them? That's right. There are duplicates in the crowd. For example, this donkey right here and this donkey right here. They look the same, they're wearing the same clothes, and they're doing the same body movements. I think the aliens have greater importance to this planet than just harvesting acorns. Aboard these alien spacecrafts are cloning devices, and this entire town is just a sandbox for the aliens to let their creations run wild. That's why there are so many exact copies of each animal. Okie is infested by clones and is run by these aliens. This entire story they fabricated was a lie. Now, where exactly does Chicken Little fall within all of this? Well, if we go all the way to the start of this movie, Chicken Little, while being interviewed, began to glitch out. I even made a note of it at the beginning of this video.
What did he big acorn level fla?
What did he say?
Big acorn level fla.
It was a big acorn?
It was an ape throwing coleslaw?
Big acorn level fla.
Every hexagon on every UFO contains a control panel that directly links to each individual race of duplicates. Now, Chicken Little is a test experiment. That's why there's only one of them. He's a fairly recent test experiment with a lot of bugs. One day, Chicken Little's control panel that is linked directly to his brain suddenly became loose and crashed down towards him, hit him on the head, and they connected like a magnet. Because of this, the aliens had to quickly retrieve that panel, put it back into place, and scramble around with it to get things back online. And that is the moment where Chicken Little glitched out. After this, the aliens became obsessed with finding out more about Chicken Little to see if he truly was a failure of a model or if he should be duplicated in the future. So in order to get this information, they turned every other person in the town against him, and they made them relentlessly hate him in order to push him to his limits just to see how much he could take before he became corrupted and started to malfunction. However, as we know, Chicken Little managed to fight back against the system that created him and brought pride into his own life. This is why the aliens are so happy at the end of the film and try to reward him by letting the entire town know that he saved him and they should love him now, because they've decided that Chicken Little is worthy of having duplicates, and if they make a sequel to Chicken Little, there will be several Chicken Littles. As we know from before, Fish can understand these aliens. That's because they're the ones who sent him down to befriend Chicken Little. Fish came down to take notes and report back to the aliens on what Chicken Little's behavior was like every day. This is exactly why Fish is able to activate the control panel when it glitches out and falls back down again and fly back up to the UFO. He knows exactly what he's doing. All he was doing was putting the control panel back to where it was so Chicken Little can function properly again. The reason why this panel fell when it did was because Chicken Little had just achieved a great victory earlier that day by winning the baseball game. An absolutely insane amount of code within his control panel was being overwritten due to these new accomplished character traits. This, of course, caused the faulty panel to fall again and go directly towards Chicken Little's head. The reason why Fish looked so happy while everyone else was panicking and running for their lives is because he knew what was going on. The aliens were just trying to scare them away from the UFO because they were not supposed to be there. Fish was entertained to see these characters in a state of panicking when he knew nothing was really wrong. Fuzzball being left alone on Earth truly was the fault of his parents. That is what Fish is discussing with him in this scene. Fish is basically reassuring him that he's going to contact his parents and make sure they know where he is so they can come down to Earth and get him. Ultimately, seeing Chicken Little save their son for them and return him to them was the final test the aliens really needed to see him do. After Chicken Little did that for them, they knew it's time to make duplicates. Well, that about wraps up my video, folks. I hope you enjoyed this in-depth analysis of the 2005 film Chicken Little. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. The links to those will be in the description. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Look at the time. We'd better get a move on.